Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thanks for tuning in and welcome. When we talk about $100 silver, it's not if it will happen, it's more when it will happen. That's the question. Think about the price of silver in 20, 25 years from now. Do you honestly think it's still going to be $25, $30? Honestly, think how far ahead that is and how much is going to change. Think about how weak the dollar will be by then. Think about how much different the economy will be. Do you honestly think silver will still be $25 by then? If you do, then you're completely missing and really not paying attention to anything or understand anything that's happening in the economy from a financial standpoint and society. Things are changing. Everything's changing. Markets are changing. The dollar's strength is changing. Countries are changing. People in power are changing. Things are changing. Times are changing. What used to affect silver back in the day is changing. And you could ask anyone, any of these old timers, these OG silver stackers or investors, period, can tell you, and I'm sure they would, that the markets are not the same as they were. If you try to use your old mind state, your old strategy with, try to incorporate that in today's times, you're probably going to not even break even. You have to adjust and adapt and think about moving forwards how much different things are. Nowadays, there's this S word that's appearing more frequently, unfortunately, in the precious metals world. And that word is speculation. Back in the day, gold and silver were priced more, valued more off of their supply and demand factors, right? How much was coming out of the ground, what the demand was, what production was, right? More cut and dry. Now there's a lot of gray area. A single tweet from Donald Trump could send the price of silver flying. Back in the day, that wasn't a thing because presidents, people of that, that type of notoriety, weren't even tweeting like this. Information, the digital age, how socially connected we are now, makes things a lot harder because within a couple seconds of someone tweeting something, you could change someone's entire perspective of the market or about a situation. That makes more fear, more panic, more uncertainty, more doubt, and that is key on what influences someone to either invest a certain way or another way. I hope you kind of get where I'm heading with this. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. Think about this election. Think about how much controversy 4 years ago was with all the riots, all the boycott. It was crazy back then. I remember watching the live feed of it, people protesting outside the White House and all the. Imagine how much worse it's going to be this year if the outcome is the same. It's only going to get worse. People are going to trust the government, the banks, less and less and less, and there's going to be consequences. No matter who wins, there is a sure thing, though. Stimulus packages are going to be put together, and no matter who wins, the stimulus package is going to be big, trillions of dollars. When that happens, and not if, when that happens, this is 100% guaranteed to push precious metals higher. Why? How could you say that? Nothing's guaranteed, Silver Slayer. Well, this is. And this is a rare situation where I can guarantee, where I can tell you that silver and gold will rise in the coming weeks and months. And that's because when stimulus is put into the economy, trillions of dollars thrown to help cushion people during these times, these hard times, it hurts the dollar. Obviously, right? We don't have trillions of dollars to throw, to give away, but we still do it. So the dollar is hurt. Gold and silver have a direct correlation to the dollar's strength. If the dollar is weaker, gold and silver are higher. If the dollar is higher, gold and silver are weaker. There's a direct correlation. They said the odds of it, it's like a negative 0.09% chance of that correlation being off. This is almost this is almost a scientific proven fact that when the dollar's weaker, gold and silver are polar opposite. And we know the dollar is going to be weaker because both parties, both candidates, have said that they're going to throw or put together stimulus packages, one more than the other, but regardless, they're both going to hurt the dollar. And in times of economic uncertainty, people invest in gold and silver. So we have a demand, especially, coming forwards with the uncertainty if one person wins. And even if the one person wins that would cause more controversy, I think you know who I'm talking about, that still is going to help or benefit precious metals. And if the other candidate wins, it still will as well, because we have green energy, we have, the green revolution he's pushing. The dollar is going to be weaker because he's not as, as business-like. People aren't going to trust the banks as much because he's kind of more, he's more for the people, not for the business, not about the money. So whoever wins, gold and silver are going to benefit greatly from. So not only do we have this demand from silver rising naturally from individual investors like you and I, big business demand from 5G technology, solar panels, and electric vehicles, but also the election that's right around the corner, a global pandemic, a weakening dollar from these stimulus packages, and not only that, the supply is shortening, the production shortening. This pandemic has thrown silver production way off, way off. Even when Mexico and Peru, some of the biggest producers of precious metals, did come back, did get back in the mines, there was a very limited amount of workers, right? Limited production costs, limited tools to dig out the gold and silver. And not only just that, transporting it all over the world was also just as hard with all of the boundaries, all the borders, all the how hard it is to transport stuff when there's borders and there's all these restrictions on that note. So it's definitely an interesting time, but no matter what's happening, it looks like every scenario, because we can only make an educated guess. We can only look at the different scenarios, the different outcomes, and then we can take it from there. Because we don't have a crystal ball, but we can look at A, B, C, and D. And looking through A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all of the different things that could play out are all bullish for gold and silver. That's why I'm telling you guys that it's almost impossible for gold and silver not to have a medium to long-term bullish perspective. Short-term, there's craziness happening. You can't guarantee anything in the short term, but I can guarantee in the medium to long term, precious metals will come out on top. Stock markets right now, though the stock markets are probably the most risky, wishy-washy thing to be investing in right now. Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin's around 14,000. Bitcoin is almost in the same category as precious metals right now, and I mean that from a sense of kind of rebellious, not trusting the governments. People look for a centralized, decentralized form of investment where they can take control of their wealth, and that's what gold, silver, and Bitcoin do. There's no bank of Bitcoin. There is no Bitcoin police. People are in control. Now, I think, and I'm sure you guys clicked on this video because you want a time frame. I always try to put this disclaimer, and I probably should have said it in the beginning of this video, but here it is. $100 silver isn't going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen next week, not next month, probably not even next year. $50 silver could happen next year. That's possible. $100 silver shouldn't happen next year, and I hope it doesn't. And if it does, I promise you it will not stay there for that long. Just like Bitcoin. Bitcoin, approached $20,000 a couple of years ago, but did it stay there? No, it didn't, because it was overbought. It happened way too fast. We never want silver price to just rise, because then it's going to crash, crash. There has to be some stability. It has to be a gradual approach, and that's what Bitcoin's actually doing now. And that's why Bitcoin is staying in this $14,000, $15,000 range, because over the last couple of years, it's been gradually building up. Just like the 2008 credit crisis, the financial crisis in 2008 led to $50 silver in 2011. It took 3 years. So if we do see these extremely high silver prices in a short amount of time that some people are saying they're not going to stay there, they're not going to last. So if we want silver to be in this $50, $75, $100 ballpark, it needs to take time. Now, last time, I think in 2008, it was $9 that led to $50 3 years later. Now, we see $11 in March, almost $30 in August. Who knows where the next couple months and years can go. But a lot of people are saying that was the bottom, and now it's working its way up. If you could go forwards in the future and look back at today's times, if you could look back and see what the markets were doing, right? Everything happening with the pandemic, with the election, with the supply and the demand, and everything. And you knew everything that we know right now. You would say, and you knew what the outcome was. You knew that gold and silver, this was the last time we see low prices. You would be telling yourself, you'd be hitting yourself on the head saying, why didn't I invest? The signs were blatantly obvious that silver was a ticking time bomb. How did I not see that? Right now, we have the opportunity because it hasn't happened yet. You don't want to regret in the future looking back at this time saying, how did I not see how obvious it was that silver is extremely undervalued and won't be for too long? Whether that's looking at the gold to silver ratio, right? Whether that's looking at the growing premiums that American Eagles have. American Eagles are worth dang near as much as a panda nowadays. That's crazy. This stuff, the markets are changing. And that's solely because of scarcity. That's because there is a limited supply of silver for a high demand. And now we're starting to see premiums on standard bullion coins that should be worth $1 or $2 over spot price at most being sold for $10, $15, $20 over spot price. That's called high premium silver. That's for coins like pandas and kookaburras where the design changes every year that have extremely low mintage numbers, not for a coin like an American Eagle. And people are still buying it, so that is going to set the new normal. You really think these dealers, Abmex and JM Bullion, are going to go back to $1 to over spot Eagles when people are willing to pay 10, 15, 20? No, this is the new normal. American Eagles are just as expensive as pandas nowadays. Unfortunately, that's crazy. And the worst part is people are willingly paying the same price, not knowing that in 5, 6, 7, 8 years, the pandas will still be appreciating on top of spot price because of their collectible value, their collectible perspective, or their collectible aspect where American Eagles just simply don't have. 2021 will be interesting because I know American Eagles are changing the design up, so there could be, since this will be the last year of quote unquote the American Eagle or the design, it could bring a new side of collectability. Who knows? Only time will tell. There's a lot to look at, but regardless of everything I've talked about, if you cannot see how much potential silver has right now, then you shouldn't be investing, because it is so obvious, it is so blatantly obvious that anyone who's watched this video or seen any of my videos or paid attention to any of the articles from KitGo, from Seeking Alpha, from any of those, you should know. And I hope you're taking advantage of it. I hope you're buying a lot of silver right now. Hopefully use the holidays to your advantage, all the Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals, because you want to get as much silver as you can right now for as cheap as possible. you want to, because sooner than later there's going to be a 30, 40, $50 silver price, and you're going to be wishing you could go back in time during this period and pay $25. You're going to wish you could have a time capsule and go back and pay $25 for an ounce. I can promise you that. So you might as well take advantage of it right now while you still have the chance. It's kind of like we're time traveling right now. We already know silver's going to rise. So we have this unique opportunity that most people don't have, right? So I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. I post daily videos. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.